I bet there's some questions from you as to what happens next. I'll ask you if you want to, anybody have any questions at this point on this law and where it goes from here?
What happens next?
Well, if you've got endless pocketbook and you have lawyers that you can sick on every level of the courts, what happened the other day could be challenged. It could be appealed to the next level, in which a judge could remove the stay. We expect that that may happen, but that comes at a risk. So if early as next week, there could be an application from the Attorney General's office to repeal the stay. If that happens, the law goes back into effect until the case is resolved. What struck me was how insulting the Gun Safety Coalition was to Judge Walker. They criticized him as being a Trump appointee, a LePage appointee, and questioned his integrity. That's not how our judiciary works, people. They're an independent judiciary. They're appointed. But once they're appointed, they're meant to be impartial. That's our judicial system. These individuals questioning the integrity of a judge is below the belt. They didn't question the components of his ruling. They questioned his integrity. I'm here to tell you that we don't do that in Maine. This is something that happens in Washington, D.C. It's a cheap shot and it's below the belt. Judge Walker, using that logic, any Democrat-appointed judge, you should see any ruling as partisan. For Judge Walker's cases, you should see every one of his rulings as partisan. It doesn't work that way, people. This state has been Democrat for over 40 years. Using that logic, every judge appointed by a Democrat should be questioned as partisan. That's not the way we do it. So that being said, the next step is we're going to wait the Attorney General's ruling on whether they're going to appeal. If they appeal, we have the funding to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And at that point, if that happens, this will get settled for over 20 states. And if it gets, I guess, reinforced at the Supreme Court level, all of those laws will then be null and void. So this could create precedent for the next 100 years on whether waiting periods are constitutional. There's no questions on this? I guess I'll leave you with one last thought around this right before we eat our lunch, is that in our highly partisan world that we live in, it has become more and more difficult to come to the table and work on policy on both sides. What I saw for the people that worked on our law, it took a lot of courage on both sides because we were being beaten to a pulp politically on both sides. We were called turncoats. People were threatening a petition to have me ousted as executive director. On the other side, the gun control people were tearing up Derek Langhauser. It took a great deal of courage for everyone to stay at the table. But we believed in what we were doing, and we got a good law out of it. That is now not common. It's the exception. And that's sad, because once you get to that place, you can't solve problems. Did I want to get up there and negotiate? No. But you have to. If you don't, our government fails you. Because we have to solve problems.